still there. You have the Yazidis, you have the Shia, you have so many groups. So these groups, they were totally lost in a very bizarre situation. Because what happened with the occupation, especially during 2006, when you have a situation in which you have extremists in the extreme of the society, it's very healthy. It's no problem. But when the extremists succeed to move to the center of the society by generalizing and just by reacting, it's a catastrophe. And in this catastrophe, these minorities were paying a high price. 30% of all Iraqis left their home, but a lot of people they don't know. For example, a group like the Mandaean, 95% left their home. Or some groups like the Christian. The Christian in Basra, when I used to have relation with all the religious leaders and to listen to them, I remember even when I resigned protesting from this position because nothing serious was done and a lot of agendas, I was so shocked when I received a call from one of the priests of Basra. And he was telling me, because all different churches, they have their own statistic about their followers, that in 2003, just before the war, there were more than 300,000 Christians in Basra, all churches together. Now less than 30,000. And this kind of situation, it's just amazing, especially when I hear here that we are victorious, we are doing the right things are going very, very well. Unfortunately, when you see also some other possibilities, or so last time during the meeting, I was following a little bit the meeting, I was in Canada, that happened about Mexico, Canada, and United States, and the President was there, and he made a long comparison between Iraq and Vietnam. I think this is also totally irrelevant. At least the neighborhood of Vietnam was not as complicated as the neighborhood of Iraq. And also in Vietnam, things were, with all the complications, were very easy because you had just to deal with 4 actors: the Americans, North Vietnam, South Vietnam, and the Viet Cong. Once they agreed to meet in Paris, it was very easy. In Iraq, it's an amazing situation because you have hundreds and hundreds of actors, and every time it's continuing. When I left there in February 2007, there was only one Dawa party, which is in the power. Now there are 3. And this fragmentation, you leave it everywhere. Even if they are claiming, the resistance, they will claim, no, we are unifying. No, that I was last month chairing a meeting on the future of Iraq in Amman, and it was attended by the Ba'athis, by the Association of Muslim Scholars from the Sunni side that are opposing, but also by 42 members of the Iraqi parliament from different parties. In private meetings, you realize how things are getting very, very complex, that the political project is not working at all, that in the beginning there was just problem between the 3 major groups. Now we are facing a lot of problem inside each group. When you see the latest development between the 4 parties in power, the 2 Kurds and the 2 Shia parties, what happened in Khan Yunis, because they cannot agree about the border. Because one of the problems of the Iraqis, they don't know what is going to happen in the future to their own country. And this situation pushed everybody to hire up to the maximum what they are asking for. But by this, they are not resolving problems, they are adding problems. Just see the situation, like, let me give 2 examples. The Kirkuk, in the town of Kirkuk, which is just a catastrophe. And it's not going to be a solution because from the Kurdish, this is oil. And if they are going to have a state, they need oil to have a viable state. The Americans were pushing a lot to have the oil law, but till now it couldn't be adopted by the current Iraqi parliament. One of the reasons, and it's a very bizarre situation, because they couldn't agree. The government of Kurdistan is signing it. Till now they signed, I think, 17 agreements outside with some Westerners, companies, especially American, Canadian, and I think also the Chinese were interested to be there, which is totally unacceptable for the government. And when you talk to people, they say, well, we can manage it in a way that the oil that was discovered a long time ago will be owned by all Iraqi people. But the oil to be discovered in the future will be owned by the province. And according to the technician, this is so silly. It cannot happen this way because sometimes it's the same kind of oil. How are you going to manage it? But instead of sitting together and trying to find solution, everybody is signing is doing what he would like to do. So you see that in the few months, I'm not going to say few weeks, maybe few weeks, if we consider if they are going to hold the second election in the end of January or February, you will see a lot of problems and inside the groups when you see what's happening now between the Prime Minister and the Council of the Supreme Revolution of Al-Hakim. It's just a catastrophe because each one is trying to represent a category who are the representative of the Shia. One is controlling the council, the local council. Both they agreed to attack the Sadris, the third group, and they succeeded. So for the Prime Minister, that his party split it in three groups, he's trying to bring the tribe, because as a Prime Minister he got access to a lot of money, to give money to tribes, to create new councils like the Awakening in the Sunni area, to have support for him in the election, which is refused by the others. And the Iraqi, they have a lot of weapons. They are going to resolve this question by assassination, by mass killing. So it's not working. It's not working. It's not going to work. One other very important element, they don't trust each other. There's a huge mistrust between all the Iraqi problem. The alliances that they are doing now, it's according to situation. All of them are just reacting. There's no national reconciliation or believing in a national solution. When Senator Biden talked that maybe one of the solutions could be to have three countries there, this is also totally irrelevant for one single reason. Who is going to recognize the border? You are talking about a situation in which you are going to have decades and decades of civil wars there in the area. What would be the situation in a town like Baghdad, which is a mixture of all kinds of Iraqis? Baghdad now, when they are talking that the situation is much better when it comes to security. Try to imagine, Baghdad is a huge town, definitely much bigger than Washington D.C. But try to imagine in D.C. to have every area surrounded by concrete. You have more than 42 cantons, and it's much, believe me, it's much easier to go from Ardamia to come to New York City than going from Ardamia to Kadimia, which is just the other side of the river. Because even inside these cantons, it's not the government who is running. You know, if you go to Ardamia, it's the awakening forces. And who is the awakening forces? There are some people that they were strongly against Al-Qaeda, but there are even some from Al-Qaeda. There are some just mercenaries that just for the money they are giving. You have all kinds of situation. And I understand with every time General Petraeus, when he see that they are talking about, you know, improvement, he's always very good. It's very, very, very fragile. Yeah, it is very fragile, and it can be turning to be dramatic situation. This is how it was the situation when you compare in the town of Baghdad the kind of bombing that used to happen in Baghdad in 2005 and in 2006. Now it went the other side, but everybody is preparing for the next. And when you talk to them, they are not even ready to meet each other. I will finish because of time by giving just how is the current situation in Iraq and for the American. It's like if you say for the Iraqi that participated to the political process by having constitution, participating in election, and everybody made participation in this constitution because they were very crucial for its group. The train left. And their conception of national reconciliation, okay, our train left, we can stop in one of the coming stations. The others that are opposing, we will give them some money or some position, and they will get in the train with us. Talking to the others, this is totally unacceptable. If the train left, our priority was to get rid of the occupation. The train has to come back, and we have to agree about a political project. And it's not happening. When you add to all these internal elements, the regional dimension and the game of other regional Arabs or Iran, Arabs are totally absent, or Iran or Turkey, and what are the other priorities, you will see how things are complicated. I think I will stop here, and if there are any questions, we will continue. Thank you very much.